Madridistas, vamos! Madridistas of the world, welcome back to the channel. I have some snippets of news to share with you guys, ahead of the Sevilla match, but a couple of interesting things have happened. Potential contract improvements for Jude and for Vini. A bit of news relating to Toni Kroos, which is, not great, but understandable. Some unbelievably good news relating to Courtois. And then I'll give you guys, also a small amendment to the video I did the other day about the possible formation for next year, based on your comments. So thank you very much for that. And then finally, just a couple of interesting anecdotes about the upcoming Sevilla match. Okay, let's get started. Okay, welcome back, Madridistas. Now, before I get started, let me just talk about the video that I did the other day, talking about formations, possible lineups for next year. And you guys were absolutely right. You're like, where the hell is Rudiger? And you're absolutely right. I was so focused on the attack, I kind of defaulted to Militao Alaba, but you're 100% correct. Rudiger is having a spectacular season. He's such an emphatic defender. I mean, he just doesn't fuck around. I mean, if you want him to defend, I don't think there's a better central defender in the world right now. So it escaped me because I was so focused on the attack, but you're absolutely right. Rudiger could start ahead of either of these guys, depending on the type of match. So thank you for those comments, and you're 100% correct. But let me give you an anecdote because, relating to Rudiger, I go to every match with my uncle, who is 81 years old. He's one of the persons that made me a Madridista at a very young age. And so we go to every match together. And Rudiger, whenever he intervenes and sort of saves the day, which he does regularly this season, he sort of looks straight ahead and says, Don Antonio, Don Antonio. So the level of deference that this man is offering Rudiger, I think, tells you everything, because this guy knows everything about football and everything about the club. So, that's the biggest compliment Rudiger will ever get, and he doesn't even know about it. So thank you for the comments. You're absolutely right. And then one other anecdote I wanted to share with you guys. I'm wearing this sort of match jersey. I had a British friend come over and stay with me over the last weekend, and we went to the shop. And he pulls out a shirt, and he was about to buy a Bellingham shirt with the Champions League logo and the number 14 on it. And I sort of stopped him and said, no, don't buy that one, because with this club, you never know when it's going to be 15. So for all of you out there who come to Madrid one day and you go to the shop and buy a shirt, don't get the one with the Champions League emblem with the number on it, because with this club, you just never know. The impossible is possible. So, get like a La Liga patch or something, but don't get that one because it might become obsolete faster than you think. Anyway, okay, I wanted to get those two anecdotes out of the way. Now, in terms of news, so over the last few days, it's been kind of officially corroborated that Florentino Perez is going to offer contract renewals to Jude Bellingham and probably Vini as well, on the back of Mbappe arriving. And this is not something the club ever does, because, like I said in other videos, this is a club that respects contracts, expects players to respect contracts. So it is a very unusual move, but I think a very, very intelligent move, because, we really value stability and cohesion and harmony among the squad. And you don't want Mbappe coming in with a much higher salary and creating some sort of psychological disruption. So I think it's a very, very smart move. So hats off to Florentino. I think this is just a brilliant thing to do. Okay, now regarding Toni Kroos, a couple of days ago, Toni posted this on Twitter, now X, and he sort of signals that he wishes to play for the German national team again. Now, selfishly, as a Madrid supporter, you kind of don't want to see that, because, he would play for Germany and even as early as March. And, we want our players fit and sort of rested for the end of the season, which is, where the real meat is on the bone. but you have to respect it. I mean, what can you say? That Germany in the last few tournaments hasn't done very well. I understand Tony's desire to help his country. So as much as it kind of bothers me selfishly, I respect the decision. It isn't something I wanted to see, but you have to respect it. Now, on more positive news, this is a picture of Courtois returning to training the other day. It was a couple of days ago. Now, I can't begin to tell you how good this feels, okay? This is like you live in the northern tip of Finland and you haven't seen the sun for like 9 months and it finally peaks up over the horizon. I mean, this is fantastic news. We were very uncertain about the timing of Courtois returning, but this is just fantastic news for everyone. I don't know when he's going to be match fit, match ready. And as I've explained in other videos, psychology to a goalkeeper is so important. I mean, you need to really believe that you're in tip-top shape to make those last-second decisions. So, incredibly positive news, and I can't wait to see him start a game again. So, anyway, let's move on to the Sevilla match. This is kind of unusual to see, but this is where Sevilla stands right now. It's not normal to see them in this kind of situation. They've had a very, very poor season. Their president and sort of management team are under incredible pressure. So I'm not expecting Sevilla to put up too much of a fight, which again is a very unusual thing to say. But one of the things that everybody is talking about, obviously, is the return of Sergio Ramos. Now, believe it or not, the conversations in Madrid are some people saying, well, should we cheer him and honor him? Or some people are saying, well, should we boo him? Because at the tail end of his stay at Madrid, he was pushing for a contract improvement, quite adamantly. And, that's something that we have mixed feelings about. So he left on slightly, negative terms with Florentino Perez and the club, because he wanted more money and the club wasn't willing to give it to him. So, some people are actually saying this, and to be honest, my opinion, and I think the majority of Madridistas is, are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, Sergio Ramos is quite possibly the greatest center back in history. And, I had the luxury of watching Sergio Ramos play in Sevilla before he came to Madrid, playing against the Galácticos, when he scored that insane free kick. He was about 19 years old. He came to the club, initially started as a right back, then moved to center back, and became one of the greatest of all time. I think you could argue the greatest of all time. But how could you possibly not honor a guy that gave you this in a Champions League final with seconds to go? How can you not honor a guy that gave you this and this against Bayern Munich and against this guy? I mean, Sergio Ramos has won everything for us. I think, a small little debate about money shouldn't cloud what is one of the most extraordinary careers in the history of the club. So there's a bit of talk about that. Now, in terms of the lineup, I'm not even going to venture to go there because there's so many possibilities. I mean, my personal opinion is that you'll probably see Lucas Vázquez on the right. I think probably Nacho and Tchouaméni in the middle. And I would imagine Mendy will come back as left back. In the middle of the pitch, it's kind of up in the air. I think Valverde and Kroos for sure. And then, sort of Tchouaméni or maybe even Raúl. I mean, I don't know. The other position is kind of up in the air. And again, we don't know if Ancelotti is going to come out with a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2. So I don't want to make too many bets on the lineup. But what I am going to do is record some slices for you. So the anthem at the beginning, which gives me goosebumps every time. And then obviously when they announce Sergio Ramos's name, I'll tape a little clip of that to share with you guys. So I'll do a post-match, which you guys will see on Monday. But I just wanted to kind of pass on the latest news. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And as always, a la Madrid.